Okay, guys, this is a quick video on why I like single family rentals, and I'll group duplex in with that category. Um, and this isn't to say that they're better than apartments. It's simply that there are endless podcasts and books and videos saying that multifamily is better in any and all circumstance, which is ridiculous. And I'm here just to show the pros of single and duplex that are often not talked about because many of the pros of multifamily also have a con. And at the top of that list is the tenant base. The tenants that you can get in nice single family rentals are so different than what you get in large multifamily apartment complexes. I had and there's not a very good view. The trash man got in the way of Google Earth here. But this is a house I bought in 2020. It abuts another house, kind of like a townhome, but it is considered a single family residence. And these tenants are moving out 5 years and 1 month after they moved in. They cleaned the whole house. We had an overwhelming amount of applicants to re-rent it at a much higher rent. And there's going to be maybe 2 to 3 days of vacancy, a few hundred or a few $1,000s of cleaning and miscellaneous repairs, and we'll have another tenant in here. And that is really hard to do with multifamily. Even when you get tenants that stay that long, rarely do they take care of the house like they did with this one. I don't have it pictured here, but one of my other rentals, single family, split into two, so it serves as a duplex. The downstairs tenants moved out. They'd been there for 2.5 years, and my property manager got to it and said, "We don't even need to clean this. It is so well taken care of," and they did such a good job cleaning on their way out. Again, try and do that with multifamily. You're going to have a hard time. So, as a corollary to that, these single families and small duplexes, that's not what I mean. What I mean is small multifamily, like duplexes, uh, are phenomenal for being more passive if you set them up right. Now, if you buy an old building that has lots of outdated pieces and parts and infrastructure, you're going to have repairs all the time. But if you have a nice newer duplex like this one, each side essentially lives like a single family, you're going to be able to have a level of passivity, I think is the word, that you just cannot get with multifamily. So all these properties that I'm showing you, I don't really have to do much. I do have a property manager, but she doesn't get or hear much from these tenants. Right? This is next to single family and a vacant lot on the other side, another single family. And this building's been phenomenal. And beyond that, something that I've really come to appreciate is the debt that you can get on these buildings. And, it's spring of 2025, and this is especially relevant because people in multifamily have been going broke. A lot of them. Why? Because they have ballooning debt that requires you to refi or at least quote unquote renew, as the bank will put it. And so their interest rates have doubled and their loan has come due. And I don't have that problem with all of these properties because they all are on 30-year fixed notes, which again, if someone will give you 3, 4, 5, 6%, 30 years fixed, that is so powerful in an inflationary environment where we have the ability to multiply that money. So that's just another benefit of these smaller units that I enjoy. Again, this one's hard to get a good view of with the tree and the way Google Earth has this pictured, but it's very large. Each side is 3 bed, 2 bath, 2 car garage, and lives like a single family. So you can get excellent tenants, and it can be fairly passive. Now, one more, or really the main point I want to make beyond the tenant base and that sort of thing is the value of owning something yourself. You hear all these podcasts about, oh, go straight into multifamily. You don't need the money, you can raise it. And that's potentially true. However, there is a downside to that. If you go and syndicate a big apartment deal, maybe it's a good deal, maybe it performs, but you don't have access to it the way you do these sorts of properties with the assumption that you can figure out a way to buy these on your own. I bought this one via house hack. I bought quite a few via house hack, low money down, and just lived in them for a year or two. And that's feasible for most people. So let me just stick with this one for a second. And the real value here, beyond the appreciation, the cash flow, because this one has genuinely cash flowed, and the depreciation and amortization is the leverage. I've had a line of credit on this for years. I have used that line of credit so many times for land deals, for transactional funding, mostly those two things. And it has made me so much additional money that I would not have been able to make otherwise. The longer you're in business and the more liquidity that you have access to, it's very valuable. The old saying about it being easier to make money once you have money is very, very true. And I've met plenty of people who, operate some real estate related business, or maybe they're a realtor. They do well, they make a lot of money, but they don't have any store of value that they can access the way that I can with these rental properties. And so they're stuck. When opportunities come up, they always have to go to investors. They always have to raise money. They have to give away a big chunk of the pie. And I often don't have to do that because I have so many little piggy banks in the form of rental properties that have a lot of equity that I can draw on at any time. I don't have to justify the deal to investors. I don't have to take the time to go raise the money, can close very quickly. And that has been tremendously valuable. And the longer I'm in business, the more I realize how much that has served me and how much I would encourage anyone in the space or in real estate in any capacity to try and get some assets that they own 100% themselves, that you have control over. And then when transactional funding deals come up or really good buys come up, you don't have to go try and raise money. You have your own sources of liquidity like I do. And that is much, much harder to do with multifamily. Again, I'm not saying that single's better. If you can go buy a 20 unit apartment totally on your own or build a 20 unit apartment and own that yourself, great. That's a better way oftentimes, but most people can't. And this is more feasible starting from nothing because I started from zero. And this was the first house I ever bought in Colorado. It's still a great rental today. So to summarize, I like single family and duplexes, we'll call it, because you can get far better tenants. They can be far more passive. Uh, they pay for all their utilities and lawn mowing, snow removal, that sort of thing. Most of the time, if you set it up right, you get less turnover if you do it right. Fixed 30-year debt, which is very powerful, and most countries don't have. That's very much a thing in the States and not elsewhere. And then, besides from those more tangible factors, just the ability to own an asset totally on your own that can serve as your piggy bank that you can control and use for other deals has made me so much additional money beyond just the rentals themselves. And again, if you go syndicated apartment, you certainly cannot do that. So these are the reasons I like small, single, and duplexes. Tell me if you agree or disagree or why you might think I'm wrong.